I think we're ready. I can't see anybody. Hey, Nita. I think we're ready.
Oh, okay. We're ready to go?
Yes, we're ready.
Let's do it. It's been a long time coming.
I know, I'm very excited. Okay, Spence, let's roll it. Welcome to another episode of Pages for All Ages. I'm Leah Godwin from Fitzgerald Elementary.
And I'm Nitsa Campos from Pope Elementary. And it has been a long time, friends, and we are so happy to be back.
It has been too long. Yes. I'm happy to be back.
Yes, and we have some really great books to review. So I'm going to go first. My first book is Wink. It is written by Harrell. It is a realistic fiction book appropriate for students in grades, 4 through 7, I would say. So 12-year-old Ross has eye cancer. As if that wasn't difficult enough to deal with, he has to contend with hair falling out onto his crush's food. He has to deal with a gunky, drippy mess of an eye and having to wear a hat. That's not all. One of his best friends, Isaac, seems to be absent from his life, and his other best friend, Albee, will be moving away. He's being bullied, and now some very cruel memes have been circulating the school. How does he deal? Well, he writes and illustrates a comic called Bat Pig, and I'll have a little picture here. That's his. And he befriends Frank, his radiation technician. Frank is a musician and agrees to teach Ross how to play guitar. Now, I'm going to stop right there and say I have a little issue with Frank. It's little. He doesn't like the Goo Goo Dolls. He doesn't like the Goo Goo Dolls. Dizzy Up the Girl is one of my favorite albums. I really thought, Leah, that I was going to marry Johnny Resnick. I really did. I just knew if we met, we would marry. And anyways, Frank, the radiation technician, seems to favor the Ramones, which is great. But we can still love the Goo Goo Dolls at the same time. I'm just saying that. I'm just putting it out there, Leah.
Right.
Anyways, Ross also finds a friend in the unlikeliest of people. These characters will stick with you long after you have finished the book. Harrell himself was diagnosed with cancer above his eye. He took what he knew and he wrote a touching, funny, honest, and brilliant book. This is definitely 10 out of 5 stars. I loved it that much. Great read. Leah, you got to get it.
I have actually read part of that book. I didn't finish, but I have read a little bit. It is really great. And when it talks about him having to have his first radiation treatment, yes, you can almost feel how anxious and scared he was.
Yes, it is such a great book. I loved it.
My first book is a picture book, On Account of the Gum by Adam Rex. What a lovely picture book. I just love the pink cover. I love the inside end pages of all of the gum wrappers. But you go to bed with bubble gum in your mouth? Uh-oh. That is a sure recipe for trouble. And it is a sure recipe to find gum in your hair. Well, one morning, this little girl wakes up with gum in her hair. And of course, every family member has a surefire way to get rid of the gum. Dad says he wants to cut it out with scissors, but then the scissors get stuck in her hair with the gum. Mom says she's read online that you can get gum out with sticks of butter. So now she has sticks of butter in her hair.
Oh my gosh.
Aunt says maybe grass. So she has grass in her hair. And then Grandpa says maybe bacon and noodles. So while everything piles on, they decide that the rabbit could eat the grass. Then they decide that the cat could scare the rabbit. Then they decide that the cat may be scared of the vacuum cleaner, and on and on and on, more things pile into her hair. In the meantime, when the firemen come, as you can see, she has everything in her hair. When the firemen come and they're just about to pour chili on her head, she says, "Stop!" Well, the gum thinks that's rude, and he says, "Geez," and he storms off. If we only knew that was the way to get gum out of your hair. But while she's still sitting there with all these things in her hair, her aunt ends up on her head. And we don't know how she got there, but the last of the book says, you have to get ready to go to school, or you're going to miss picture day. I love that, Nisa. It just kept going on and on. And I read it to a class today on Zoom because I had a live time when I was with the class, and they loved it.
It looks precious. I'm going to order it as soon as I can. Well, my next book is The List of Things That Will Not Change by Rebecca Stead. It is a realistic fiction book appropriate for students in grades 4 through 7. Bee has been writing in a notebook her parents gave her several years ago when they decided to divorce. Her father told her, "Things are changing, Bee, but there's still a lot you can count on, okay? Things that won't ever change." And they handed her a green spiral notebook that had a list called Things That Will Not Change. Her parents started the list with number 1. Mom loves you more than anything, always. Number 2, Dad loves you more than anything, always. And Bee continues to add to this list. Bee also sees a therapist who helps Bee with her anxiety. Now, Bee's father has announced that he is getting married to his partner, Jessie. Bee is excited about them getting married and ecstatic that she will have a new sister, Jessie's daughter, Sonia. And Sonia lives all the way on the other side of the country, and she is apprehensive when she arrives in New York for a visit. Bee is also worried about her mom. How is she handling all of this? This beautiful novel is packed with all sorts of subject matter: anxiety, therapy, divorce, a gay parent, an estranged brother, a wedding, blended family, homophobia, etc. And Rebecca Stead navigates all of this masterfully. She is authentic and touching. A beautiful and lovely read from beginning to end. And I strongly recommend this book for all libraries. Well, it's Rebecca Stead, Leah. You know she's great.
Exactly. Can't go wrong there.
You can't. Wonderful book. Must have at every library.
Just like I feel like you can't go wrong here. You remember the New York Times best-selling team, and they have done it again. You may remember their names from such books as The Bad Seed, The Good Egg, The Cool Bean. Well, now, ta-da! We have The Couch Potato. And oh yes, The Couch Potato does everything that all those other books did. What a great story. Couch Potato is loving how much technology he has and how much he can do just from his couch. He even has it set up so he can brush his teeth and change into his pajamas from the couch. He is so used to all of his screen time that he has to order a camera that shows his reactions when he is watching TV. But oh my goodness, when he plugs in that plug into the socket that is already crowded with so many other plugs, he knocks out the electricity. It is so dark and he struggles to find his way to the window so he can get some light. And it seems like the sun is brighter than it was before. He goes out and realizes that he has been missing what's going on outside all this time. And that it is even better than high-res TV. It is real life. So he has more fun with his friends. He decides that it's great to have time where you're unplugged. and where you can enjoy doing things with friends like play board games. And he is more than just a couch potato. He's an amusing potato. He is a smart potato. He is a kind potato. And he is an entertaining potato. And he is, I am going to sit on the hill and watch the sunset potato. He is all of these potatoes. So he realizes that he needs to have more balance in his life. And while he does go out and have fun with his friends, and he's not the couch potato he was before, it is still good to go home and be a couch potato for just a little bit. Great story.
Always great to be a couch potato.
Just for a little.
Just for a little bit. Right. My next book is Raising Lumie by Joan Bauer. It is another realistic fiction book appropriate for students in grades 4 through 7. And in this book, Olive's father has just passed away. She was very close to her father and adored him. She now must move to a new town with her older half-sister, Maudie, whom she barely knows. Luckily, Maudie is quirky and fun, and the two bond quickly. Olive meets Jordan, a 12-year-old who is losing his sight and knows a thing or two about raising service dogs. When the opportunity arises to raise a service dog for the visually impaired, Olive desperately wants to do it. After some consideration, Maudie allows Olive to raise Lumie, an adorable yellow lab that is full of energy, spirit, and love. Olive will be raising and preparing Lumie to become a guide dog for a year. Olive must remember Lumie's purpose when the time comes to hand Lumie over. Bauer has written a book about grief, starting over, new relationships, trust, love, tears, joys, and puppies. Now, I saw a book list review that said, if the Hallmark Channel produced children's movies, they'd option Bauer's latest in a flash. And I gotta say, that's about right. And who doesn't love Hallmark movies? And first, let's just take a look at this adorable baby. Go ahead and stare at that, Leah. I know how much you love puppies. And
I love puppies so much.
I know. And who would not be drawn to that cover? And it's a puppy in a vest with a pseudo smile. So bravo, Joan Bauer. Bravo. Awesome, awesome book. Love it.
I love that name too, Lumie. That is so sweet.
And I had a foster kitten several months, probably about a year now. Her name was Lumie, and we just loved her. I don't know, Leah, but it is cold in my house, like freezing cold. I think I need to get my blanket out, cover myself in it. Oh, okay.
Okay, you ready now? Okay, I'll go ahead. My next book is a nonfiction book, and it came out recently. It is Accidental Archaeologists, True Stories of Unexpected Discoveries by Sarah Albee. This book is fantastic. I love books about accidental inventions, accidental discoveries, and this one does not disappoint. This book is full of interesting finds. History is buried all around us. All we have to do is be interested in digging it up. You might just find something interesting in this book. It has 17 chapters that describe different surprise discoveries, how each one was discovered, the relevance, the history, and any unanswered questions about that discovery. There are things about a cowboy finding an ancient skeleton. One thing is about the young boy who is looking for his goat, and he finds the Dead Sea Scrolls. That happened in 1947. Also in New York City, there was a hidden burial ground, and more and more and more. So this is a wonderful book. They talk about Richard III and Genghis Khan. I just found it very interesting. Each entry is very short. to the point. There are actual pictures from different digs in here. Just really a great read for kiddos and adults who just like mystery and finding new discoveries. So, Accidental Archaeologist. Love it.
I'll be purchasing that for my library. It seems very interesting.
Very.
All right. My next book is Swashby by the Sea by Beth, Ferry. It is illustrated by Juana Martinez-Neal. It is a picture book. Swashby, a fisherman, loves the sea. He knows the sea, and the sea knows him better than anyone. Now, upon his retirement, he, of course, chooses a small house on the beach. Everything is perfect. The sea provides him everything he needs, and it's nice and quiet. That is, until the house next door is no longer empty and is occupied by a sweet little girl and her granny. Swashby doesn't like that they scatter their umbrellas and their beach chairs. He doesn't want neighbors. So he left them a message in the sand, which read, "No trespassing." But the sea fiddled with the message, and the girl read, "Sing." So guess what she did? She sang. Now, Swashby isn't having it. There it is, where the sea filled with the message, and it says "sing."
She's so cute.
She is super cute. Now, Swashby isn't having it. He continues to write rude messages in the sand, but the sea isn't having it either. She continues to fiddle with them. When Swashby writes, "Now vanish," the sea leaves the word "wish" behind. Swashby and the sea continue with this back and forth, and slowly a friendship is forged between Swashby, the little girl, and her precious granny. Now, the sea has one more trick up her sleeve, and Swashby realizes that tea, ice cream, lobster, and s'mores are much more fun with friends. And I just have to show you this when Swashby realizes all of that. Is that not precious?
So cute.
It's so cute. And Beth Ferry is a storytelling master. She won me over with the book The Scarecrow, which is now my favorite picture book of all time. And I have been picking up all her books ever since. And when this one was released, I snatched it up immediately. And of course, I was not disappointed. And she paired up with the illustrator Juana Martinez-Neal, and the book is perfection. The illustrations are so sweet. It's like sea glass colors are used as the background, and they just make the little girl and her granny like pop off the page. It's just the story itself with the illustrations.
I think if you didn't know that author, you might pick it up just for the illustrations alone. That little girl is so precious.
Yes, with her oversized glasses. Like, I haven't read this to students yet. I will probably be doing that very, very soon. Pick it up. Put it in your library, in your home library. Give it as a gift. That'd be a beautiful gift.
My next book is not as comfortable and warm as your book, Nita. This book is creepy, deliciously so.
I love scary books, Leah. Sorry.
I know.
I love them.
This book, the name is Scritch, Scratch. So just Scritch, Scratch makes you feel creepy. And you know how that little line of fear just runs up your back? Well, Lindsay Currie does not disappoint in this middle grade horror novel. I'm telling you, this is the story of Claire. She is in the 7th grade. Her father likes to study about ghosts and find out about ghosts, and he runs a tour bus that is a ghost tour. And he also writes books about ghosts. Well, they go on the ghost tour because her father's driver that usually drives the bus is sick and can't come. So he needs someone that's on the bus while he takes people on the tour and drives the bus. So he enlists Claire to go. Now, Claire is very logical and scientific. She doesn't really believe that ghosts could even be real because science is logical, but ghosts are not. Well, she goes on the bus tour and everything goes the way it should, but she does feel a little creeped out while she's on the tour. And when they're riding home on the bus, she notices a little boy that everyone else seems to not notice. And not only is he a little boy that you wouldn't necessarily see on the bus, he has on vintage clothes like knickerbockers, you know, those short pants.
Yes.
He also appears to be wet. Well, we're not exactly sure what happened to the little boy, but he seems to be haunting Claire. He haunts her in her home. She sees curtains move when the windows are closed. There's a mysterious writing in her shower on the tiles. She wakes up one morning to get ready for school, and all of her clothes that are in the drawer are wet. Now, not only is she being haunted by this kid, she's also having trouble with her best friend, Casley, I'm not sure how to say the name. But her best friend, they're in the 7th grade, so you know how sometimes girls start to drift apart. And she's a little bit jealous of Emily, the new girl, who's friends with her best friend. So Claire doesn't know who to turn to because she's logical. She's not sure anyone will believe her. She doesn't want to tell her brother because he'll make fun of her. She doesn't want to tell her dad because she might become the subject for the next book. I'm going to leave you right there. But this book, deliciously scary, wonderfully creepy. I want to read the back to you really quick. I'm trying to drift off to sleep when a faint scratching sound starts in the wall behind my head. Scritch, scratch. Scritch, scratch, scritch, scratch. And I'm poised to climb out of bed and race down to the living room to sleep on the sofa when the doorknob starts rattling. My curtains suddenly blow out as if they're caught in a breeze, and I stare in horror at my window, remembering I had double-checked and locked it before I climbed into bed. Fluttering curtains when there's no breeze can only mean one thing. There's something in my room.
Ooh.
Lindsay Currie does not disappoint. I knew when I read The Peculiar Incident on Shady Street that I wanted to grab the next book, and I did, and I am so glad. You need to get this book for your library, Nisa. It's wonderful.
Don't worry, my friend. I will totally be getting that book for the library and for myself. I'll be buying myself my own personal copy because I need to read that on a cold, rainy day when it's cloudy outside. Thank you, my friend.
You are welcome.
Well, my next book is quite the opposite of that book. It's called Unicorns Are the Worst. No, it is written by Alex Willan. It is a picture book. Now, who knew unicorns were so bad? A little goblin taught me that frolicking, which apparently unicorns do all day long, is really not that hard. And what's the big deal with their pointy head? I mean, really, the little goblin has pointy ears and he's not making a big deal out of it. Oh, and the glitter. Now, I like glitter. Or so I thought until the little goblin pointed out that glitter is especially hard to get out of a smock. I may have to rethink my stance on all things glitter. Man, that's going to be hard, Leah. That's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's not all. It's music and tea parties all the time. Ugh. And so little goblin reminds me that.
Oh.
Yep. about
too.
that. Okay. Well, Little Goblin had me believing that unicorns are totally the worst. Totally. Until the unicorn saved him from a dragon. Who knew that unicorn glitter can put out dragon fire? I didn't. And their harp music can be disorienting to a dragon. And their horns are a lot more than just pointy. They have powers.
Oh, cool.
Now, I can go back to loving unicorns because if this little guy, he says their dragons are the worst, is what he says on that last page. Now, let's just take in that pink glittery cover, please. It is glitter. It is beautiful. It is pink. It's the cutest. But that's not where the glitter stops, friends. No. That is not where the glitter stops. It's on the, when you take off the dust jacket, can you see that shimmer? And like his face changes from the dust cover. It is just.
That is so way cute.
Now
I have to have that.
You do. And now I'm just happy how much the goblin has taught me because now I can go back to using my unicorn pen. I love my unicorn pen and I can definitely go back to using my unicorn pencil. I will forever love my catacorn. That's a cat, y'all. Nothing can ever make me stop loving my catacorn. Ever. Not even that little goblin. But he did have me questioning unicorns, Leah. He really did. Is that not the
I was so afraid you were going to tell me that glitter came from a terrible place or was toxic or something. And I thought, no, I don't want to hear that about glitter.
No, Goblin never mentions that. He never tells you where it comes from.
Thank goodness. We might not want to know.
No, I agree. What's your next book, Leah?
Well, now I'm going to take you back into the darkness. But this darkness is so wonderful and hopeful and full of love. This book came out finally, after reading it online and just getting little pieces. Midnight Sun by Stephenie Meyer. Oh, me, oh my goodness, Nita. I fell in love.
You do not have to tell me with my Twilight t-shirts and blankets and pillowcases. I have the umbrella. Yes, I do. I have all the cups.
You have it all, I know. And oh me, oh my.
I have 2 6-foot Edward cutouts. I do. I own that. And I am not ashamed. So don't shame me, anybody.
I'm not ashamed either. Don't judge me because I love this. I loved the books. I loved every book. I loved Twilight, New Moon, all of them. And I so waited for this one to come out because this is the lovely Twilight story, but this is told from Edward's point of view. And oh my goodness, Edward told us the story filled with hope, filled with dread, filled with happiness, filled with dismay, filled with just painful feelings of love, because not only did he love Bella, he wanted to kill her. But he couldn't. I mean, he is a vampire, by the way. So, you know, he doesn't believe he deserves happiness. He believes that his soul is no good or that he has no soul. And I just loved the way Stephenie Meyer wrote the character of Edward. And if you did not love Edward before, you will love him more now, if you are a fan of the books. And Nita, I know you are. I saw that blanket. I saw those cups. I'm a little jealous.
I went to all the midnight showings, honey. I was there. What Stephenie Meyer did, she got kids reading.
She did.
And not just kids. She had adults reading again. So
yes.
you know, I know some people had their opinions about Twilight, but it is a wonderful, angsty series that I just loved. And she got high school kids reading.
Yes.
And that is what is important. And we have been waiting for Midnight Sun for how many years? Because, you know, the first several chapters got leaked onto the internet. And so she finally just released it, and after it was leaked. And so I was reading those however many chapters that were released for years. And finally.
And she did say at first that she was not going to do this. But I think she got enough people saying we want to know more about Edward. And I mean, this is a tome. It's a lot. Okay. And I was a little concerned that it might not live up to the hype just because it was basically the Twilight story over again. But it's not just that. You learn more about a lot of the other characters as well.
Yeah, look at the difference. But remember, Edward doesn't sleep either, so.
And how old is Edward? He's old.
Old.
He's not your usual 17-year-old.
No, but he's beautiful. I will forever love Edward. And by the way, I am Team Edward and Team Jacob. You don't have to make me choose. No, you don't, and I won't. Nope. I won't do it. So Stephenie Meyer, I know this video won't get back to you in any way, shape, or form, but I love you and thank you for making all of us Twihards. Oh, thank you for making our year. 2020 has been horrible, and this was a nice bright light in all of it. Just
oh, well, man. I think that's all we have today. Do you have any other books, Nitsa?
You know what? I'm not going to review them, but you're going to laugh when I show you this, Leah. So Leah and I became a little obsessed over this little movie on Netflix. We became so obsessed with it that I think you and I were watching it every day. It's called The Kissing Booth. I do want you to know that the books, they were books first, and the story of the author is fantastic. She wrote these books when she was 15, and she put them on a website. I think it's called Wattpad. And the book was discovered there by Penguin Books. And but they are books, so if you want to read them, and plus, you know, at the beginning of the second movie, she talks about being spending the summer at the beach house. And so there is a book about the summer beach house. So I wanted to kind of talk about that. And then, Leah, do you love Guns N' Roses?
I do.
Yeah, I love Guns N' Roses. There is this gorgeous book called Sweet Child O' Mine. It is a gorgeous picture book, and it's the song. So if you have any, I mean, look at that.
Oh, I love it.
Beautiful. Some of these hardcore rock and roll, Axl Rose and Slash. They take that wonderful song of theirs and they put it to an amazing and beautiful picture book. So just
now,
wanted to
let me go ahead.
No, I just want to put that out there. It's just a beautiful book. It's also make a really great gift.
Let me ask you, when you read it, do you kind of sweet child of mine?
Yeah.
Is that something?
And then I kind of sway back and forth like the amazing Axl Rose. But anyways, I just happened to stumble upon that book, and I definitely had to pick it up. And the illustrator of this book is Jennifer Zivoan. I'm sorry. You know how I butcher names all the time. So please forgive me, Jennifer, if I just completely butchered your name, but it is beautiful. Thank you.
That is beautiful.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, I guess that's it, Leah. for our latest episode of Pages for All Ages.
I'm so excited to be back.
Me too. I'm sorry about our hiatus. I was in a little bit of a reading slump, Leah. I don't know about you. I think 2020 kind of took its toll on me. So I was struggling with reading there for a little bit. I think I'm back into it. I think my gears are going. But
We'll be back.
We won't do this again.
Okay.
All right, friends. Thank you, and we'll see you next time on the next episode of Pages for All Ages.